Notts County Talk. It is just me currently. We are live with the Pavis Perspective, episode 70. Sorry we're a couple of minutes late. There's been a few technical issues with George getting on. But we will go ahead and he'll be with us very shortly. Even as always, you will have seen at the start, we are powered by Better Bytes computers. Any of the codes you saw at the start of the video, or if you're listening back on Spotify, then you can just pop in, say that you have been sent by us, and you'll get discounts on new computers, refurbished computers, or on computers being fixed. Evening to everyone that's joined us. Let's see who we've got with us currently. Evening, Derek. Evening, Luke, Ian, Chris, James, loads of joiners, even Stephen, Maggie, Ellie, Alan, so many regulars here joining us. Really do appreciate that. Chris says, thought the lads were on strike for a minute. I'll tell you what, Chris, of all of the times I've struggled to do videos after a game, it felt like a massive kick in the teeth on Tuesday night. It did. I think we've got him with us. Round of applause. Have we got him? Here he is.
Sorted.
Technical issues do not stop you, do they, George?
How you doing? Don't, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Bit annoyed after what's going on there. Not sure what was happening. My camera wouldn't connect, even though it's in a laptop. But I'm here now. That's what's important.
It just wanted the like big reveal. That's all it was.
Yeah,
that's all it was. We've had some really important questions in the past few weeks. Today's poll is probably the biggest. It's a big one. George, you want to read it out?
Yeah, I'll read it out. Yeah,
it's a big one, isn't it?
It's massive. Yeah, season defining. Chocolate cake is best served with cream, with ice cream, with custard, or on its own.
My vote was in instantly. There's one answer.
So chocolate cake. Do you mean like hot chocolate cake, or do you just mean chocolate cake?
Could be hot or cold. Could be hot chocolate fudge cake. Could be a bit of just a normal chocolate cake. There's one answer. We'll get on with it. I was just mentioning, George, I don't know if you heard it as you were coming in. I genuinely don't mind saying this because it's not happened really before. I really struggled to film our videos on Tuesday night. I felt like it was a massive kick in the teeth, huge kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
And we spoke with Jordan, we spoke with Jake, and we were very downbeat. And there were a few comments that were saying things like, cheer up, lads, we're still top of the league. Yeah, 100% in hindsight, we're still top of the league. But that's just like, we're filming within 10 minutes of full time. That's a raw reaction from us.
I stick by what was said though.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we've got to have high standards, and things are always Williams always says about having high standards and not letting it slip and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the officials helped again on Tuesday night. I thought there was some awful. There's two decisions that I just think just awful refereeing decisions. Not even like linesmen as well. Just shocking. But the main point is for me was that last 10 minutes when you're sort of on the edge of your seat begging for something to sort of happen. There just seemed to be no urgency. And it's frustrating. And like I said in the player ratings as well, the thing from goal kicks, and I'm not criticizing, but I'd love someone to explain to me why we do it.
There's no difference for me in just kicking the ball out. Like, we're not doom and gloom. This is the realization of this season, because nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody wants playoffs again. It's complete
exactly.
Lottery.
And
it's complete lottery.
When you set the targets, and it's not just the fans that have set the targets on winning the title, it's everyone at the club. If you're setting your targets on that, and that's what the fans, you're telling the fans that you're aiming for, then that's what the fans desire. You've set that target for yourself. Well, the club have sort of set that for themselves. So when Wrexham, and literally, we have the advantage, we're still top of the league, but if they win the games in hand, they go above us, obviously.
Yeah.
We've just not sort of taken. I know there's a long way to go. A lot of people say that, but we need to take advantage of at every point we can.
We really, really do. We do. I just feel we're going to go on to the decisions in a minute, because we have to. Like Charlie said here, it's going to be very, very close. Currently, they are relentless. And a few weeks ago, they'd have said the same about us, relentless. I cannot believe we've lost one game all season, and we could be overtaken. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, we could lose that Dorking game. Could be the only game we lose this season, and we still might be in danger of not going up.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
The playoffs is such a lottery, and you can't help but feel that 3 seasons in a row we've progressively gone out at earlier stages in the playoffs. And the way Chesterfield has strengthened there, I don't know if you've seen their sign, is it Colclough from Altrincham? Yeah. One of the best players in the league. Plays for Altrincham, one of the best players in the league. All of a sudden, you meet Chesterfield in the playoff final. Colclough, Dobra, Shamanga could be getting back on track if he's not. He's not even really off track. He's scoring goals. You know, it's suddenly you go from, you know, finish second and you're technically the best side out of all those teams. All of a sudden, it's a lottery. You know, you saw Wrexham lose to Grimsby in that playoffs. All it takes is a bit of momentum. So, and in this National League, if you go like, what do you go? 10 days, 14 days between the end of the season and your first game in the playoffs. It was 10 days after our end of season to Grimsby, and it's a lottery all of a sudden. But we've put that pressure on ourselves by being so good. And we are so good, and we are top of the league. So we can't be doom and gloom. But I'm going to say something now. I think it'll be very telling come 10 o'clock on the 24th after we've played away at Chesterfield and Solihull. That'll be telling for me. You know, if we've got 2 wins there, oh my goodness. If we've got 4 points there, brilliant. 3, looking risky. If we don't come out there with those 2 with a win, you know Neil Ardley's side are going to turn up against us for Solihull, don't you? You just know it. You know, they've been on a bad run of form. Neil Ardley will get them ready. Ardley knows a few of these players, doesn't he? He knows Chickson, he knows Ruben.
Job.
So does he know? Yeah, he was there when Ruben was there, wasn't he? Neil Ardley?
Yeah, it wasn't in favour, which is crazy.
Yeah, Job, Slocum. So that'll be really interesting. 12 days from now, we'll see. But there is no panic from me at the minute. You know, it could easily go Wrexham go 2 without a win. You know, we thought we were pretty much not going to get beaten or stopped. We have been stopped twice in the last couple of weeks, but that could easily happen to Wrexham. You know, it could. They didn't play fantastically at home. Got a penalty, but there we go. The pace of the game, George, on Tuesday night was not really worrying. It was more baffling for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, especially at the end of the game. You know, if you can control in the game and you control the tempo, that's fair enough. If you're winning, I will say this though: Boreham Wood, they were good. The first half, they were really good.
Yeah.
They were relentless. Really, they didn't give us any breathing space. They didn't let us play the way we wanted to play. They were on us to everything. The pressing was immense. Probably the best pressing we've seen at the Lane this season. I thought they were quite impressive, which is crazy really, because their form is pretty shocking. I think the last time they won, I think it was October or something like that. So they're not exactly in fine form. But that first half, it was very convincing. They looked like a good side, a good unit. But I think in the second half, when we sort of got the goal, we controlled the game a little bit more. We were just too slow with it. We were really slow with it. And I know you don't want to try and force things, but, you know, when it's into, you know, injury time in the game and we get a free kick and then I think there's like a minute left and I think Bostock passed it short and then passed it back. Just put it in the mixer. Put it, like, take a chance at that time in the game. Just put it in the box.
I think you said to me Slocum should go up and take this.
Yeah, but put as many bodies forward as you can. And just put Slocum on the halfway line and take that free kick where it was. Yeah. I don't want to be overcritical of Notts because, like we just said, we're top of the league. But for me, when I'm watching that, it was something to me that seemed pretty clear. And we've not really had that this season where there's been like something where I felt like, oh, that needs to improve now, or this is going to happen, or vice versa. So that was where my frustration lied.
Yeah,
just real lack of urgency.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we did enough to win the game. I don't think we did enough.
I agree. I don't think we did enough, and I think Boreham Wood. I think Boreham Wood were a good side.
Yeah, 100%. They're a bit like Bromley, aren't they? We're just a bit of a bogey team for us. We never seem to do that well against Boreham Wood. We drew at their place earlier in the season, albeit Luke Williams got a note from the referee's assessor to say it shouldn't have been a penalty. I can guarantee we're going to get a note from the referee's assessor to say we should have had a penalty for the tackle on Aaron the man, and it was given as offside. I don't know what's gone on there. I could sit here and talk about referees for hours, and there's no point just sat here moaning about referees because I've just said we didn't do enough. But there are some games in the season where the best sides in that division don't do enough, but they get a win. We've created an opportunity with an overlap. Aaron Demann's beating his man for pace. And I don't know if anyone's seen the video on Twitter. I reposted it from someone that put it on there. So he gets the credit. But if you go on my Twitter, you'll find the original tweet. It's a penalty. There's no debate. It's not even a 99% chance penalty. It's 100% a penalty. Aaron Demann's overlapped. He's 3 or 4, 5 yards onside. Someone that was sat down near, is it Tom Wheel? Someone that was sat down near him said he was screaming that he's 5 yards onside. And the linesman's put his flag up and he's not directly gone for an offside. It's awful. It's so
I thought, and like you said, I don't like going on about officials, but we have to talk about it because it's affected the game massively. I thought they were just so happy to just let Boreham Wood, sort of like they kick the ball away a couple of times, bit of time wasting here and there. And yeah, like when you kick a ball away, once, fair enough, you get a warning, but second time, get a yellow card out. And
it stops it, doesn't it?
In the first half, they absolutely clattered Scott about 3 or 4 times, and I think
one tackle in particular.
one yellow from it, and then you're just thinking it comes back to the safety element again. The players don't seem to have any protection at the minute. It's crazy. I thought they were just so scared to make a big decision in that game. I honestly, when that offside happened, I think that the liner went to give a penalty, but then bottled it. So
yeah, I do. You can see in his body language. Do you know the tackle on Scott, the really bad one in the first half? That was almost that was not far off identical to the Langstaff one, where he gets injured against Gateshead. No yellow. I mean, fair play to Boreham Wood. If officials are going to let you play the way you want to play, do it. Okay, it's not Boreham Wood's fault. It's the officials' fault. They were having goal kicks where they were placing the ball on the right-hand side of the penalty area, and the keeper was picking the ball up and walking over to the left. He wasn't even told to hurry up. Like the officials, and I hate to say it because I sound like one of these people that goes on social media or
sound like Kevin Nolan,
and just blames the official on everything. We're possibly 6-7 points behind because of decisions that have cost us in games.
Yeah,
I personally think even though we weren't on it on Tuesday night, we get the penalty in, and if we score the penalty, we win the game. I think. Because they have to then come at us and we pick them off. But there we go. Yeah, James Scott brought down the edge of the box or just inside the area. What if it wasn't a trip? It must have been a dive, but nothing called. I think Alex is talking about the same win. That same thing, Kev, win penalty first half. Ian, my favourite was when they kicked Scott in the leg and they got a free kick for it. Yeah, that was the jump in the first half. It's laughable. It's absolutely terrible. Refs have no control over the game. We've had nothing this season. We've had one thing, and it was the Chickson penalty in the Aldershot game that he pulled a player back and didn't get a penalty. That's all I can remember this season. So it's so infuriating. It really is. And I'm still not like some games you can let it go. I'm still not really over it, if I'm honest, because it's now costing us. It's now costing us. Saying that, Boreham Wood, good side. Refs are going to let you do it. Fair enough, do it. I have no problems. If refs are going to let you do it, do it. But there we go. We have to talk about it. It's the big talking about as well, George, Bostock and Palmer. Does it work?
It didn't seem to on Tuesday, did it? If we're honest. It really didn't. And look, I think Bostock got a bit of heat and his performance wasn't fantastic, but he's I think he's a very calming character to have on the pitch. And you look at any team up the country, the player that plays that position, sort of sitting in front of the defence, will always be the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Every team, the holding midfield is the scapegoat if they have a bad performance, like the team. So I don't think it's down to him at all. I thought he played all right, to be fair. Maybe could have been a bit more positive with his passing, a bit more forward passing, but I just don't think it works. I think they're too similar. I was excited to see them play together. Maybe it was just one of those games. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. Maybe it's just one of those games. Maybe try it again, see if it works. Because they're obviously good players and they know where they need to be and what they need to do. At the end of the day, it's instruction from Williams, isn't it? Like, you can have two players that play identical, but I think Matty Palmer plays quite well, playing a bit more advanced when someone like Bostock can drop in and do the sort of the role that he does. But he just wasn't in the game at all on Tuesday night, and I don't know if that was a targeted ploy by Boreham Wood, because Matty Palmer massively goes under the radar, in my opinion. When opposition fans or like even fans from different clubs in leagues above mention Notts County, none of them mention Matty Palmer, do they? It's Ruben Rodriguez, it's Macaulay Langstaff, your players like that. No one mentions Matty Palmer, but he, for me, is so consistent. He's the Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's the most consistent player Notts have. For me, he's probably the best player Notts have. He might not score all the goals, get all the assists, but he does all the hard work. He makes it all happen. He connects it all to me, for me. So I really like Matty Palmer.
Yeah, he had a very rare off game, didn't he, on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think it's probably his first off game.
I would say, though, you're saying possibly try it again. We did try those two in the middle against Oldham, and same result, we get a draw. I think the press had a massive impact on the game. If that's Yeovil at home, where they came to park the bus in front of the goal and sit there without trying to score, it's different. You can just let Bostock put those balls into the box all day, but he never really got any time, and he had to keep dropping deeper and deeper. Yeah. Saying that, whether you're under instruction from the manager or not, when you've got very short amount of time left in the game, you've got to speed your play up a little bit.
Yeah,
got to speed your play up a little bit. Yeah, have to. For me, it's got to be Bajrami in there with Palmer. It was great when it worked. I don't understand why it's gone away from that at the minute. And I don't want us to. Look, I'm not going to scapegoat Bostock because, like you say, he got a bit of heat unnecessarily, in my opinion. And you're right, with players in that position. Jim used to get it when he played sort of in that middle position. Dore used to get it sometimes. But Bajrami was brilliant in there. Brilliant. And he sort of would burst past 3-4 players. There was a goal, older shot at home, was it? Where he gets to the edge of the box and then takes it wide and then puts a great ball in. And it just works. So there is obviously room for Bostock. I don't want us, though, to try and shoehorn him in because of who he is. Because that wouldn't work. That would be to the detriment. And I don't think Luke Williams will do that.
No, I agree.
But
that's what Bajrami adds to me. He's not scared to run at players. Baj will take players on. He's got that physicality, hasn't he? Where, if he is running at you, you're sort of thinking, he's a big guy and he's a unit. So he can get past players. Where I feel like Bostock, if an opposition player approaches him, he's quick to look for the pass. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Obviously, different players do different things, and that's their attributes, isn't it? But I think you get that with Bajrami.
Yeah, definitely. Something else I mentioned that I've been thinking more about. I mentioned it in the, I think it was might have been the player ratings we did. We're like 80% of our attacks are going down Aaron Aman's side. And when we don't have Toby in there, someone just asked where he is. He picked up an injury in training. Hopefully he's back soon. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Do we need another wing back on that left-hand side that can run at players and take them on?
I think so.
I do.
I think Chickson's class. He's a fantastic professional, great player. But there's no real replacement for his position, is there? Obviously, there's players that can drop in and maybe do a job like you said. Cameron did at Oldham. But we want someone that's sort of used to that position and ready to play there week in, week out, do the leg work, good crossing. It just have a bit of competition for him. I think it'd be good, healthy competition for Chickson.
Yeah, I do. Aaron Aman's bursting down on one side, taking players on. You don't have that on the other side, unfortunately. And
the overlaps from the man as well.
Yeah, they're really good, and he's got the pace you can set the overlap quite far in front of him as well, and he'll still get there. Hence, where we should have had the penalty. He got there well ahead. Their fullback didn't know where Aaron Aman was at, so it's interesting. Chickson, their keeper's really good, isn't he? Nathan Ashmore made a fantastic save from Chickson's chance. But something else as well is Adam Chickson's not had a sniff a goal properly for a while, has he? I know he had a game out or so, but he's not had a real opportunity to, like a clear-cut opportunity to score. We were saying he's going to be walking into double figures. At the minute, not so much. So that interests me. I quite like this point from Chris. I think we need, what does he say? He says, I think we need Palmer, Badge and Job in midfield against Chesterfield. I would say if we can fit them in, midfield's going to be really important in that game. They've got some really good technical players in there. They've just added Colclough as well. You know, Dobra's really, really good. So we're going to need to be really strong in that middle. We get overrun like we did at their place, especially second half last season. We're in for a bit of a shock. Two more things then before we look at Maidstone, George. What should we go with? We'll go with, do we still have a team that's too soft and too nice?
I don't think so.
No, you think we're all right?
Yeah.
What do people think in the chat? Are we still too nice? Do we need an enforcer, someone that's going to really put it on teams?
I think we have that in Badrami though, when he plays.
Not on the he's not on the pitch. Not on the pitch. I don't know how many minutes he's played in recent games. It would be really interesting to have a look. But when he was on form, he was brilliant.
Yeah. You look at the team. So your main starters, you've got Cameron, Baldwin, and these are players that I think, you know, they're not nice players to play against. Cameron, 100% not. If someone touches him on the back when he's guarding the ball, he's going down and he's winning a free kick every time. You know, he's there to wind fans up, wind players up. He does it all the time. I think the same with Langstaff as well. Ruben's definitely not a soft player to play against. Palmer, he wouldn't. I don't know. I don't see him as being someone who's like nasty to play against, but you can't wind him up. So I think that's a great attribute for a player to have, especially a midfielder.
Can I just say this? While I'm looking, Badrami, one 90-minute game in the last 10. The other times he's had 25 minutes against Aldershot, 45 against Gateshead, 15 against Eastleigh, 60 against Southend.
What's happened there then?
I don't know. He before that he played 90 against Woking, 90 against Maidstone, 90 against Wealdstone and scored, 90 against Torquay and scored, 90 against Bromley. Then that was it. Then we had the Southend game way back in maybe November, start of November. Gone from the side. I really would like to see him back in. And the only 90 minutes he's had in the last 10 games is when he had to fill in at centre back against Oldham. Not fill in, he's played there before, but when he came in, because that's not where we play him, is it?
No.
It's hard to fit him in. It's really hard to fit him in, but I think he's got to. Since Castro, I don't think they were necessarily the same position. Badge being saved in case needed for defensive cover was the line from Luke Williams. Yeah, but we can't be having that. We can't be saving a player that good for defensive cover.
I imagine being that player and being told that I'm not playing you because I'm saving you for
defensive cover.
Yeah, that's not what you want to hear, is it?
You're a better midfielder.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
It is hard though. Like let's be right. Like the squad is superb. Like we've got some really good midfield players. For me, the defense is pretty settled. So I don't really think you can change it too much, but I do think we need to see more Badrami in the middle.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have to make those sacrifices. And I know Bostock's probably been given promises that he's going to get so much game time because of the sort of standard of player that he is. But at the end of the day, if it's not benefiting Notts and it's not working the way that Williams wants it to,
yeah, you've got to make those decisions. And the final thing before we move on to the Maidstone game is, what are your thoughts on player signings now? How many? Any? Now, Chesterfield have made their move and drastically improved their team. Left wing back for me, he is a must.
Yeah.
And I don't know about anywhere else on the pitch, really. I really do believe if we can either get Chickson, because there was a period when Chickson was running at players and taking them on, wasn't there, and putting crosses in. If we can get him back to doing that, or get a wing back in, we open the whole pitch up again and people don't flood Aaron the man's side.
Yeah, I agree.
Just left wing back for you.
Or
maybe a striker.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely chuck a backup striker in there. I think when we're chasing a game, we just need to bring something on that's a bit different. I don't feel like we had that on Tuesday. We didn't sort of have that threat to bring on that was sort of different dimension that can really change a game. I do think Castro had the ability to do something like that because he was just unpredictable, wasn't he? Maybe we need someone like that, just someone who's a bit unpredictable. But I think Sam Austin's fantastic. I think every time he's been called upon, he has been great. And another player that I feel like he's probably feeling a bit hard done by because when he has come in, he's been great. He's scored, he's got assists. So I'd like to see a little bit more Sam Austin. Maybe earlier in games, I feel like if you'd have seen him in like the 60th minute against Boreham Wood, he's chomping at the bit to play. I'm sure he really wants to get involved, and when he is involved, make a difference. So I'd see a bit more of Sam Austin. I'm not sure we need to really replace Castro, in my opinion. Especially now, I know Vincent's come back, and I know there's a lot of people saying he's not good enough, but I think when he first sort of, let's say, burst onto the scene at Notts, he was probably our best player. He was incredible. Everything he did was through him. Great at breaking the lines, got a few goals as well. Really made things happen. But I think we have the options. I'd just like to see, like you said, a left wing back and a backup striker, maybe like a big target man. That's probably been there and done it.
Yeah, definitely. Dogs UK says, don't understand why Castro chose to go back to West Brom as he now isn't able to go to another team this season. Yeah, I was a bit confused about that one. I think his contract's up as well. So
B team maybe.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to? Because he was starting a fair few games, wasn't he? Started at Scunthorpe. A few starts. Yeah, Rich, we need a third quality centre forward who can cause physical chaos in the box when plan A isn't working. You feel like if you had that, we could knock the ball into the box, try and get a winner. But yeah. Let's be real. We're talking here about fine margins. We're top of the league, one loss all season. We're never going to come on here every week and be like, "Oh, we're fantastic." This. There are improvements to be made.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in all of the last 9 seasons, the side that's won the league have won more of their points at home. Could we break that? But currently, we're not winning our points at home compared to away. The percentage wise, we're smashing it away from home. Our away form's fantastic. We need to just tighten it up at home. Really, really do. And it's fine margins. It's so small. Small.
Yeah.
Chris, Vinny has the energy and would work hard for Luke Williams. I think so. I mean, look what Luke Williams has done to some players. Made them fantastic.
Yeah.
He could come back in, couldn't he? He could come back in and just surprise everyone.
Well, Sunday's the perfect opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it? Is he cup tied?
I think he's cup tied.
Oh.
Lavery is out of contract in 9 days' time. Would love to go for him. You know what? Luke Williams just really doesn't care sometimes, like how he changes that team up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming against Chesterfield. Complete curveball. Like I could see him coming against Solihull, maybe just thrown in. So the only thing is he wouldn't have played for a while, would he? So yeah, he is cup tied, Chris says. Right then, George, on to the FA Trophy, and it's not got a lot of chat from us tonight, and neither has it on social media with anyone. I wanted another cup game, another league game, personally.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, keep going with the league. Bothered about Sunday? I didn't even know it was Sunday until I went into ground and saw the poster.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it on Saturday.
Me and you both. Yeah, I'm sort of feeling the same. I don't. It's never good to lose a game, and you want to win all your games in an ideal world. But I just feel like this season's different, isn't it? We've got to focus on the league. If we are gonna sort of go into Sunday, chuck in all the players that haven't been playing.
Slocum has to play, doesn't he? I think Brooks is cup tied.
Yeah, but everyone else just change them. I would prefer to see a completely different, 10 outfield players. Genuinely. 10 outfield players different. Just for morale, just to get the fans to see how the players that are on the fringe are performing. Because there's some players that you really want to see play that you very rarely get to see play. Obviously, that we mentioned a few, sort of Austin. He only seems to get cup games, doesn't he? At the minute, you see a few, see him a few times in the league, but not as often as you'd maybe like, and also he like Bajrami as well. I mean, Cairo, give him a start. I know he's sort of never really got going, has he, at Notts, but just completely change the team. Because the last thing we want now is an injury, isn't it? I think taking the time to sort of rest those players, it's a great time. And then if, God forbid, we do lose the game, it's not really affecting the starting 11 too much, is it? For me personally, as much as you don't want to lose, that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think I agree with Billy here. Don't want to lose the game, but don't really mind or don't really care either. You don't want to be losing the game before Chesterfield and Solihull. You want to be keeping that momentum. I know when we lost to Colville, we bounced back pretty much straight away. I'm not quite sure if the next one was the Wealdstone game or there was a decent win in there anyway. I really do want to keep momentum, and like you say, I want to keep momentum by throwing players in. There's nothing for me. It's quite exciting to go to a game, see the fringe players, maybe see 2 or 3 academy players in there as well. See what Mahovo can offer again.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think we'll go for our team then, George. It's going to be a bit of a mixed up one, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And just see what we can do. In goal, it has to be Sam Slocum, doesn't it?
It does.
Brooks, believe, is cup tied. Same formation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you going to play in that? That's the problem, isn't it? You then have this issue of we don't actually have that many players.
No, we don't. You're right. Yeah, for me, obviously, you have to put Chickson in because he's the only left wing back we have at the club.
McGregor?
Potentially.
Someone's going to tell me he's like gone off on loan somewhere or cup tied or something. McGregor if he can play.
Yeah. And then the other side, if fit, I don't think he is though. Get Adebayo rolling in.
Yeah, agree.
Centre backs.
This is where it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll probably go Mahovo.
Yeah.
Brindley.
Yeah.
And probably
Baldwin.
Cameron.
I'd say Baldwin. Yeah. We're talking about massive changes, but midfield, I'd go Jim and he's going to play Matty Palmer, isn't he? He is. He loves to give Matty Palmer every minute. I'd like to go Jim and Ed Francis, but I think he will play Matty Palmer, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I'd say Jim and Ed Francis as well.
And then I would say rest Ruben, gets through a lot of work. I'll put Austin. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because I want Bajrami in there as well, but
maybe a youth player in there. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Ed Francis, Jim O'Brien, and Bajrami in that middle, and then I'm gonna go Austin sat just behind Mitchell.
Yeah, that's a remedy. I agree with you on that one.
Chris said he'd play the lad from the T-Bar and the Reeds brothers chauffeur up front. So, I mean, if they get in ahead of Mitchell, he's got issues. Rich said if Cairo doesn't play, may as well leave on Monday. Yeah, if Cairo doesn't, if for some reason he didn't play, wow. Yeah. Something I want to just say now, because this might affect it. Do you go to Chesterfield and go 2 up top? Can you go to Chesterfield and play 2 up top away from home? I think you can go to Solihull and play 2 up top.
Yeah, I do.
You think go 2 against Chesterfield? Yeah, interesting one. I'm not sure yet. I'm not quite sure.
I think Edwin does a lot of work.
I think you have to pack the midfield though, especially against them.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We'll see.
We can do that.
I'll back Luke Williams to get it right. Right, George, go to the poll then.
Oh, Here we go.
It's a big one. It's a really big one.
Massive. Chocolate cake is best served with cream, 26% of the vote. With ice cream, 38% of the vote. With custard, 19% of the vote. On its own, 16% of the vote. So quite fairly even split, that, isn't it?
I know someone that does custard and ice cream and lets
That's-
the ice cream melt into the custard.
That's disgraceful.
What did you vote?
I voted as if it was like a hot chocolate cake with ice cream.
Yeah, with ice cream every day.
If you have custard with chocolate cake, sorry, but you gotta have a word with yourself.
19% have had that.
Yeah, have a word with yourself, you lot.
Cream, yeah, but it's just not ice cream, is it? And on your own,
You're absolutely spot on.
you're having to have a drink of water with it just to swell your mouth out. It's ice cream. It's ice cream. I think we've got a Wrexham fan here, Notts County. We're coming for you. We're not really that fussed at the minute, actually. We're talking about chocolate cake. So that's the big question at the minute. So we'll save that comment for another week. Let us know. What would you have your ice cream with? No, your chocolate cake with is ice cream.
Custard. It's terrible, isn't it?
Custard. Right, score prediction. Neil, has to be custard every day of the week.
It don't.
Score prediction then, George.
You go, Tom. You go. Go on. I'll let you.
1-1, not to win on penalties. Mahovo header.
Love that. That's an audacious.
And he's going to pull his shirt up
prediction.
and reveal a vest that says ice cream with my chocolate cake.
Love that.
10-1.
That's almost as out there as Doyle doing it for Rolling Wave.
10-1 that he'll have that on his vest.
What result am I going to go for? I'll say 1-0 Notts.
Who's scoring?
Kyra Mitchell.
I just hope he does, because there's no point in having a player low on confidence if we're not going to replace him. There's no point in having a player that isn't confident on the bench. So we want him to score, obviously.
Yeah,
right. There's a bit of a pattern here. We've got a 2-0. We've got a 2-0 Notts. We've got a 2-0 Notts. Guess what? We've got a 2-0 Notts. We've got a 3-1 Notts. We've got a 3-1 Notts. What else have we got? Hate to say it, either 2-1 Notts or 3-1 Maidstone. Ellie's gone for a 2-0 Notts, Mitchell and Austin. We've got a 2-0 Mitchell and Mahova. I'd love a youth player to get a goal. 4-0 Chicks and hat-trick Tar Screamer. 4-0 win, custard on my chocolate cake celebration. Never fails to disappoint.
Callum, I'm disappointed.
3-3 Notts on Pens. We've got a 3-0 Austin 2 and Scott. We've got a 2-1 to Notts, Jim and Cameron. I think they will come desperate to win the game, because I was just having a look at some of the sides that are still in the competition, and like Maidstone, any National League top side, or any National League top side, there's some a good chance there's some low sides there. Here we go, 2-1 Maidstone. Hopefully, surely you'll be wanting us to win the game to have more fixtures, unless you really want to win the FA Trophy. There we go. But yeah, it's a big opportunity. There's Wrexham left in there, George, and then the next toughest side are probably Barnet or Dagenham. You know, there's Braintree in there, Hungerford, Tamworth, Chelmsford, Farsley, Leiston, Darlington. That's a big opportunity. Yeah. When we do our Pavis perspective next week, it will be a huge episode. It will be in my opinion, I've already said it, the two big defining games for the season. A double header away to Chesterfield and away to Solihull. We've got a very, very good record away from home. We're drawing too many at home at the minute, but they are going to be very, very tough, especially Chesterfield. So that's a big one not to miss next week. It'll probably be a bumper episode. I hope we're still in the cup by then, because it will mean, positive vibes around the squad. Thank you for joining us again. Big numbers on a Thursday evening. As always, please don't forget to like, comment anything else you can think of, and subscribe to the channel. And always give us a 5-star review on Spotify if you're listening on there.